Hi everyone, it's Terry here sharing another process video for Bramble Fox, and this time I'm using this fantastic limited edition set from the shop. It's a beautiful pink perspective set, and I'm going to use all three pieces on this layout, and I'm using this pear tree cut file with the 1, 2, 3 numbers because I decided I wanted this layout to be about me and about reminding myself a bit about who I am. This year's been a bit of a strange one, and I wanted it to be all my favourite colours and just a little bit of a nod to remember who I am and that I'm limited edition, just like Morag's designs show. So I've got some white cardstock, and then I've got this square of patterned pink paper that I've just distressed the edges of. I think it's about 8.5 by 8.5 inches. It's literally just bigger than the cut file that I'm using. So I've cut the cut file out of white cardstock, and then I've also cut out the numbers that go inside from different patterned papers. So I'm using up some scraps today. I've been on a bit of a mission to try and get rid of some of the smaller pieces of patterned paper that I had lying around. So I've got this cute paper with the cherries on, and just a navy patterned stripe paper. So again, to tie in with the distressed edges of the square, I'm just distressing the edges of the numbers, and it also just kind of lifts them up a little bit off the where the cut file, the outer cut file is, because I decided I didn't want, because I want to overlap things onto the numbers, I didn't want them popped up on foam pads. It's quite a quick layout as it comes together. I'm just using this one photo of me, and I'm backing it on another scrap of paper. This is a pink paisley one, I think, from last year. I love all the strawberries on it. I'm just distressing the edges again, and I do pop this up at the top and the side, just on a bit of foam, just to kind of lift it off the page and give it a bit of dimension, but I've tucked it in under the number 2. So my plan is, with the 3 words, is I'm going to link them to each number. I have just off camera stitched round the cardstock and the patterned paper, and then also done a couple of little lines where each number is, and now I'm just adding those words with some glossy accents. So just pop small dots of glossy accents all over the back, trying not to put too much on, because otherwise it does splodge out the side. Just to add a bit of difference to the words, I'm tying a bit of baker's twine in like a deep pink round one of the letters, just to add a little bit of interest to them and make them a little bit different, a bit quirky. So I've literally just tied a piece in a knot and then snipped off the edges. I've done this on a few different pieces here and there when I've been designing with them. I like that they just add a little touch to them. Sometimes I'll stitch them actually to the page with some thread. So now I've got kind of the main aspect of my layout created, it's time to start adding some embellishment. So because I've got these big bold words, I didn't really want to add too much in the way of big pieces. So I've got these die cut butterflies that I've had in my stash for ages that I'm not even sure what I've cut them from. And I've just stitched through the centres of them. So what I'm going to do is, you'll see I'm going to overlap some of them and just create kind of a vertical design with them. So I'm just layering them up on top of each other, and you'll see where I decide to kind of go with them. So I think they create just kind of a bit of a flow down the middle of the page. And I've got this flare that I've had a while, and it says "This girl can." So I just wanted to use that. piece of chipboard frame from Pink Fresh Studio that says the date, and I will write the date on that. So I'm just covering my photo, and I'm just going to add some splats of gold paint before I add the butterflies on. So what I tend to do with my butterflies is to give them kind of that sense that they're flying and that they've got wings, is I'll pop foam pads on the outer edges of the wings and then put wet glue in the centre so that the centre's stuck flat to the page, but then the wings are like lifted up on the foam, and I always think it looks better. It looks like the butterflies are actually moving. So where I've also got those extra butterflies layered on top, I am just popping some foam pads underneath their wings as well to lift them up so you can see the difference in them. So I've pulled out these Valentines Heart Perspextives as well, and they go really well with the kind of colour scheme that I've picked. So they're all pinks and kind of turquoises, aqua colours. So I'm just going to use a few of the pinks just to kind of add a few extra little embellishments here and there around the page. I absolutely love these little hearts. They're perfect for just adding little touches to your pages. Now I'm deciding what else it might need, so I've pulled out some Nuvo drops in a light pink and a dark pink, and then I've got some of a sequin mix. And I'm just pulling out, there's some kind of like yellowy pink, orangey kind of florals that are in that mix. So I'm literally just pulling out the flowers and adding a few around. So like I said, I'm trying to keep it on a bit of a vertical design, and now I'm just adding some round sequins from that mix. So I'm being random but also quite specific about where I want to place them. So I've pulled out certain sequins from the mix that I want to add, and then just kind of clustering them in little areas to make sure that I get kind of an even balanced flow down the page. So I'm going to add some Nuvo drops in the centre of my butterflies to create kind of just a bit of interest down that like body that you would normally see on a butterfly. Just felt like they seemed a bit plain on the page. I'm just adding a little bit of journaling and the date. Really, I should have done this before I added the wet Nuvo drops, because it makes it a little bit tricky. I'm trying not to put my arm in them. And I'm just, because I've got some black writing and there's no black anywhere else, and those butterflies to me are still not popping off the page as much as I'd like, I'm going to outline them really roughly in black pen. Again, this would have been so much easier if I'd have done it before I stuck them down and before the Nuvo drops, but sometimes you just look at something and think, oh, I need to add something else, and this was one of those occasions. And I'm going to add some gold glitter in between the dots of Nuvo, in between the butterflies. They just looked a little bit out of place, and again I've got some bling going on with those sequins. So this is my finished layout. I'm really pleased in how it turned out. Check out the comments below and the description, and that's where you'll find all links to our other social media platforms for more inspiration. Thanks for joining me.